Anime! What you are looking now is the character selection screen of a little game called 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. A game that definitely has Sentinels, Aegis, and Rim? Rim? Isn't that when someone licks your ass?
力ずくで僕を押し倒す
ふざけるな貴様本当は男だろ
ここで確かめてみるかい
I played this game for a couple of weeks. I saw what these kids had to do, and boy oh boy, this game goes to unexpected places. However, I'm a little conflicted about this game. I'll try to use all my brain power, so bear with me. After doing a little research, that is to say I just googled the name, I found out the depths behind it are not others than Vanillaware. I know them for two things. Uno, they make some beautiful games. Their understanding of 2D and the amount of things they do with it is nothing short of crazy. They know their stuff, and every one of their games screams personality. Just look at these screens. Even the fanciest words ever written cannot describe how good this game looks. And believe me, I tried, in 2 languages. I'm a sucker for beautiful 2D. While stunning, their games tend to be on the repetitive side and kinda boring in the long term. So I was curious when I learned more about it. This is a strategy game mixed with a visual novel. I know it sounds as weird as you think. So, as I mentioned, the visual novel / point and click sections let you control any of the 13 waifus and husbandos. You have every possible anime protagonists and sidekicks. The mysterious guy with glasses that always pulls them up. The girls with amnesia. A dude that seems like a bad guy but has a heart of gold. You know the deal. If you like anime, just by looking at them, you'll see what they're all about. No matter who you pick, you'll be treated to a lot of dialogue and some very basic gameplay. The biggest addition this game offers in the story sections is a way of using or thinking about ideas the game keeps in the triangle button. I played the PS4 version, but I recommend against it. If you can, absolutely go for the Switch version. 13 Sentinels is not a game built for long gameplay sessions. We'll get into that. Okay, so triangle. Yeah, it brings the ideas menu, which you can use to think about them or use some ideas with certain characters, places, or cats. It's a basic idea that I believe tries to solve the biggest sin in point and click games. Click on everything till something happens. It's a fix, I guess, but you can still go around checking for a floating white text. The square button brings a small menu with different paths. At first, it looks like you can do several things, but the game is very strict about what you can do. At very specific points in the story, you can have an effect. However, that's pretty uncommon. You're here for the ride, my friend. Let's talk about the story. First of all, I've been jokingly calling this game very anime, but it is. At first, the game forces you to play in a very specific order. However, it opens up after a lengthy tutorial. More or less, all the kids have their own reasons to follow along the story. Yet the general threat is an alien invasion. Some characters time travel from the future, others from the past. There's a talking cat. The pilots have to defend the city from giant machines, and this is where the action, or destruction as the game calls it, comes in. Destruction is the strategy side of the game. First thing you notice is that the game is very simplistic in terms of how it shows you the battlefield. Although it has some cute animations for some attacks, everything you'll see is very simple. Kudos to the audio here, because it really conveys the experience of fighting with giant robots. And yeah, everyone is naked inside their Sentinels, because reasons. The battles happen in real time, but you pause the action every time one of your Sentinels is ready to attack. From here you can move them, attack, or do some extra actions like repairing your Sentinel, or guard to recover that bar below your HP. Yeah, it's basically stamina or MP. The enemies come in different types, but mostly fall into long and short range, with different amount of buffs and ground or flying types. Your main goal here is to protect a terminal, that big thing near your deployed Sentinels. If you can protect it for a few turns or destroy the enemies within the objectives, you'll win. You also have to consider the health of your husbandos and waifus. If their Sentinel is destroyed, they have to wait for a few seconds in order to recover. During this time, they are extremely vulnerable. If anyone dies or the terminal is destroyed, game over. By winning battles, you can upgrade your team. You can take up to 6 Sentinels for the offensive attack. The rest of them will use one skill while protecting the terminal. Each destruction mission places you in a different area of the map. In order to get those beautiful S ranks, your Sentinel, city, and terminal have to take as little damage as possible. As you can see, I'm more of a D kind of dude. The 13 kits fall into different types of Sentinels. Some are better for long range attacks while others provide support. A lot of the skills are shared between Sentinels. However, here and there you'll see some OP stuff that only a few Sentinels can do. And also some passive abilities can be obtained by leveling up your pilots. A few kids might get along better with others, so balancing a good team is key in the hardest difficulty. I played almost all the game, the hardest one, but I got to a few missions where, yeah, you guessed it, grinding is necessary. So after dying a ton of times due to not having the perfect combo of pilots, I just lowered the difficulty. So is the strategy side fun? Well, honestly no, it's extremely repetitive. It has some ideas like AoEs are way more important than destroying single targets since they recover your stamina way faster. However, overall it is pretty repetitive. The game forces you into certain situations since you can't use the same pilots all the time if you want to keep your score multiplier going. If you choose to recover all your pilots, you'll lose all that hard-earned multiplier. In the end, leveling up all of them seems like a good idea, until you realize some of them have way better special attacks than others. You'll naturally use your favorite waifus. The story side is difficult to assess. I mean, I like some of the chapters since they basically fall into a slice of life mixed with sci-fi. However, once things start to escalate, the plot becomes hard to follow, even if you're paying attention. You'll likely forget who the hell is that idol that talks through the TV, or that prisoner 265 or 465. So to keep track of all that weirdness, the game has a third option, basically a wiki. You can use the mystery points you get from the instruction stages to unlock some files, yet some of them naturally are available through the story. If you like the lore, there is a lot of lore. As I mentioned earlier, I think this game is better experienced in chunks, at the cost of likely losing a few threads of the story. If you do it like me and power through more than 1 or 2 story or destruction sections, you'll end up very bored and even hate the game. It's painfully tedious sometimes, like Hiyama chapters.
焼きそばパンください。待たせたな。焼きそばパン。よしよし。ほん。うますぎる。それも当然。
You have to find a yakisoba pan for like 3 hours, while the game allows you to play almost any given chapter at any time. At some points they'll force you to beat a few destruction stages or pass certain events with other characters. If you like one side more than the other, these locks will block your fun. Well, after all that discussion about cats, waifus, and everything else, is this game actually good? One thing I can say is that I have a hard time recommending it. If you even attempt to put 13 Sentinels on YouTube, you'll see some people praising the game, thus I kinda feel conflicted. I honestly don't know what is so good about this game that either Vanillaware themselves haven't improved in their previous games or others have done better. The story is as crazy as it can be, however that also ends up being a problem. I don't want to talk spoilers, but suffice to say it didn't live up to what I was expecting. But again, this is not a bad game. It's just repetitive and it clearly overstays its welcome. It has some good stuff if you like anime like myself. Apart from that, I think other games like Valkyria Chronicles or Fire Emblem provide more interesting characters or gameplay. If you have the time, yet don't want to play it, it's just better to watch the entire game on YouTube. But that entire battle with the idol singing while you have to fight is kinda cool. Reminds me of Peace Walker.